Hi, everybody. Welcome to Soul Talk with Sonia. I'm Sonia, licensed professional counselor, and I have a passion for singles. So, thank you so much for tuning in to my channel. Please subscribe. And today we are talking about three bullet points: dating, courting, and why you should embrace the latter. I'm going to share my courting experience with you and how God just did it in His timing. Okay. So I'm also an author. My book came out 10 years ago and it is no longer available. I am re releasing it. God gave me more insight, more wisdom. This time in my book, not only did I interview single women, I interviewed some single men, giving their perspective. These are godly Christian men. And so you will be the first to know when it comes out this fall. It is at the editors as we speak. I have two books coming out. So one is at one editor and one was another editor. And I did that so they can both be released um, at the same time. And so I can't wait. So this is from my book. Now I'm quoting, and this is the difference between dating and courting. I'm quoting an organization that's non denominational known as the Institute in Basic Life Principles. In my research, they had the best definitions for courtship and dating. So I'm going to read these slowly in case you want to take notes, and then you can have it firsthand when you purchase my book that's coming out this fall. Okay, so we'll start with courtship. Courtship is a relationship between a man and a woman in which they seek to determine if it is God's will for them to marry each other. Under the protection, guidance, and blessing of parents or mentors, the couple concentrates on developing a deep friendship that could lead to marriage as they discern, talked about that last week, right? Their readiness for marriage and God's timing is important for their marriage. Courtship is a choice to avoid temptation and experience the blessings of purity. It is a choice to not emotionally give away your heart piece by piece to many others through casual dating relationships and instead give your whole heart to your life partner. It is a choice to wait for God's best for His glory. It is a decision to walk by faith, to trust in God, to honor others above yourself, and to believe that God will deal bountifully with you because He is love. Because each individual family and set of circumstances is unique, each courtship will be unique. And that was just loaded. There was so many good bullet points there. I'm going to dissect in a minute. Dating. Men and women who choose to date often have no commitment to consider marrying the other person. Couples usually date with the selfish goals of having fun and enjoying romantic attachments. In contrast, courtship is undertaken only when both parties are prepared to make a commitment to marriage. Dating tries to answer the question of how can I find the one who will make me happy? Courtship strives to answer the question how can I honor God and discern, that word again, His direction regarding my life partner? Lastly, in a dating relationship, there is little, if any, accountability for the couple and little or no interaction with family members. A dating couple is merely attracted to one another in some way and often pursues an exclusive relationship that is independent of others' influence or counsel. Since the boundaries of the relationship are self determined, a couple may easily succumb to temptation and fail to consider their responsibility to honor each other in purity and genuine love. Loaded. Now, some may say, well, how am I supposed to marry if I don't date? I think the distinction between dating and courtship is one word, and that word is intent. What are your intentions? So some people date, but they're not ready to be married. They just want to have sex They may want a genuine relationship, um, or they're just, as it's stated in, according to the Institute, they just want to have fun, right? Just want to have a good time and have fun. Okay. The bottom line is, ladies, you have to guard your heart whether you're dating or courting. Now, it is said that dating is what people who are of the world do, who are not Christians. Christians should date. It is also said that it's an oxymoron. Christian dating can't be. So I said last week how in the Old Testament the fathers arranged the marriages for their daughters. And I submit to you that our Father, our Heavenly Father, is still arranging marriages. But we have the power of choice. So let's say God shows you who He wants you to marry. Because we have a will, we decide if we're going to accept who God has sent for us or will we marry someone else. Okay. So with dating, I told you all how in college, freshman year, I'm determined I'm coming to college, I'm gonna meet my husband. That didn't happen. So I graduate, I'm still dating, but one day I'm in my yard and I said, God, this dating thing, this is not it. This is not working for me. So I go to a singles event at a church and they had a panel of 7 men and they had round tables and they had questions. So we would answer the questions. It's about 200 singles. So we would answer the question at our table, the round table, and then after we discuss it, the facilitator will open it up to us to, they would read the question, we discuss it, and then the panel of the 7 men would give their commentary. So the lady next to me said, she gave her response to the scenario. So the scenario was it was this lady that was dating this guy, she was celibate, but he wanted to have sex. And so the question to us was, what should they do? What should she do? So the lady sitting next to me said, well, first of all, why are they even dating? They should be practicing courtship. And she broke it down. That was my answer. That's why it didn't sit well with me. This dating thing, I said, this is not sitting well with me. And so she had mentioned a book. I bought the book, read the book. And it was just giving the difference between dating and courting and how as Christians we should embrace courtship, not dating. So this excerpt from the Institute in Basic Life Principles was loaded. One of the words they used was discernment, which we talked about last time. Ladies, you have discernment. Why should you use your discernment before entering into a relationship? I talked about being careful about giving your number out. So, I told you the story of how I met this guy. I asked God, I said, he's going to answer my number. What should I do? He's asking about church. And I didn't give him my number. I'm picky. Well, I'm married now, but when I was single, I started being picky about getting my number out. Why? This is what you have to watch. Your soul. I'm concerned about your soul, just like God is concerned about your soul. As women, we are emotional beings. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you give your number out, you're opening a gate. Do you want that gate to be open? Because we start telling all of our business, the trauma, the drama, everything you went through, but you hadn't even vetted this guy yet. So some women tell too much too soon. And you know a guy for a week or two, you go out, you see somebody oh, this is my friend Joe. Joe, not your friend. Joe is an acquaintance. You don't know Joe, and Joe don't know you. So you have to guard your heart. That's why I was so particular about who am I giving my number to. Is this guy worthy? Remember, you have the power of my time, of my attention. In other words, goes back to purpose. Is he a part of my purpose? So you have to use discernment that you have to see if you should give time and attention to this person. Now, You meet a guy, it could be a business opportunity. That's why I asked God, should I get my number out? I was in the season of my life, I was waiting on a spouse, that was my whole season, really, waiting on a husband. But, it's the summertime, I'm looking cute. That's where my mindset was. And so that's why I asked about that. Should I get my number out? But every guy that approaches you, that you talk to, is not a potential husband. It could be God wants you to lead him to Christ. Could be he knows somebody that you need to know that can help you where you're trying to go. That's why it's all about purpose. Okay. They talk about having some type of accountability. So you need someone in your life that is seasoned that you can go to for godly wisdom. It could be your mom, uncle, grandparents, godmother, cousin, someone who's experienced marriage and has some wisdom for you. So he talks about accountability. Especially if you're trying to be celibate, you need some accountability to help you in that area. Okay? So he says it is a decision, he's talking about courtship, to walk by faith, to trust God. Sometimes we are putting our faith in people and not in God. You have to trust God. He kind of knows who you need to be with, who you need to marry. Again, the question is this person your assignment? Is this person assigned to you? So those are the difference between dating and courtship. Discernment, use that, ladies. If you're not ready to be married at the particular time, just focus on your male friends, your girlfriends. Just hang out, have fun, enjoy. But if you know you're not married, don't practice courtship because it's not time for that. And so I do want to share with you my courtship really quick. So I met him when I wasn't looking. When I wasn't expecting it. I'm not going to share the whole story because it's in my book. And just for the sake of time, because I do just 15-minute videos, 3 bullet points. And so long story short, I wanted to take Chicago Stepping again. I took it in one time. And so went on Meetup, found the class, and I went to class. And I had taken it before. So the instructor said, let me see where you are. So when you start the dance close, and then you break away. So we started the dance, and then we broke away. But in the midst of starting it, I felt something. And I brushed it off and said, oh, I just hadn't been touched by a guy in a long time. But when we started the dance, it was like, what was that? Okay. But I ignored it. Okay. So that was the first thing. The next week I went to class and I said, oh, God, I think he likes me. It's just how he was looking at me. Okay. No big deal, whatever. Next week, it was just him and I in class at first, warming up. We danced side by side. And he said, let's do a left turn. So I did a left turn. He did a right turn. We turned and we bumped into each other. And he apologized 1,000 times. He didn't step on my foot. He didn't hurt me. But I said, God, if he apologized one more time. And then my next thought was, he would take care of me. Okay, next class. Again, just him and I at first. We're dancing. I said, man, we sure are in sync. But it has nothing to do with the dance. Now, my mind is not on him or no other guy. I just want to learn Chicago Stepping. Okay, I didn't go to class saying, maybe I'll meet my husband here. I just want to learn to dance. Okay, so next class we go, and we're taking a break, so class is full. And he said, Sonya, give me a high five. So thought it was weird, but I was like, okay, whatever. And so he held up both hands. And when he held up both hands, our hands touched and my eyes blinked. I call it a spiritual blink. And when I opened my eyes, I heard the Holy Spirit say, that's him. Okay. Spiritual blink. Okay. So this is 2017. I knew, but he didn't know. So I had to wait. So now I'm waiting. So I'm seeing him in class, etc. We go out one day after class. He had what's called a set where steppers go and they dance like a party. And so we went out one day after class, after the set. We went to Red Lobster. Got there about 7:30. We leave at like 2:30. So I discerned that he knew something. Like maybe he knows something, but I don't know if he knew I was his wife or not. So anyway, I'm in the waiting room. I'm waiting on God to tell him. Fast forward, it's 2019. So I'm going out year and a half, seeing him out, but nothing is happening. So this year and a half, I'm frustrated, I'm irritated with God. Times I'm mad at God. I'm just like, okay. But what God was doing was birthing the book in me on waiting, which I'm going to release. So I'm going to tell you the name soon. I'm going to hold the name for it. So as I'm being frustrated, irritated, waiting on God to tell him, I'm also writing my book. So God is giving me material for my book. So when I would get so irritated and frustrated with him, I would go and read my book because it was ministering to me, which is what God wanted. So fast forward, it's 2019, it's January. Every January I go on a fast, and God says this is the year. So this is January. We didn't get together to December. Talking about a wait. Now God, you told me in 2017. Now we're in 2019, you tell me it's about to happen, but it didn't happen to December. So that's a lot of waiting. So single ladies, I got you. I know about some waiting. Okay, I didn't get married to my 40s. And then God shows me him in 2017. We didn't get together in 2019. Okay, so it's December. I go to a set. I see him. I'm just as irritated as I want to be. So I'm like, God, it's December. You told me in January. So I leave the set, irritated, frustrated. Now him and I dance, and he looking at me all gaga goo, but he not saying nothing. He not saying, hey, let's sit down and talk. He's not saying, hey, let's go out to eat afterwards. He ain't saying nothing. Just look at y'all. Okay. So I leave the set. I'm venting to God the whole way home, like a 45-minute drive. I get home, I hear God say, text him. I was like, that's not God. I ain't about to text him. So I get up the next morning, have peace. I text him, hi. That's all I say. And so he sent me this long text. Hey, how you doing? It was good seeing you last night. And so I asked him, could he meet this week? He said yes. So this is now Sunday. So we meet the next Friday. We'll meet that Friday, and we met at Panera. So I shared with him what God has, shared with me, and he said that 2 weeks ago, he was praying and God showed him a vision of me. And so he said he had been praying about me. He said, and I hadn't gotten an answer. Then he paused and said, you know what, Sonia, I have got my answer. He said, let's start going out. I was like, huh? And he said, we go to the same church. And he said, let's start going to marriage counseling. So this is 2019, December 13th. So we started marriage counseling in January. Okay. Back up. This is December 13th. Christmas, he comes to meet my family. Comes to meet my family, December 25th. We started marriage counseling in January, premarital counseling. We started looking for rings, looking for furniture for that. We're doing all of this. Okay. God will move suddenly in your life. When you've been waiting, you're holding out, and you've been living righteous, trying to live the best Christian life you can. When God moves, he moves suddenly. So we bring shock. We're doing all of this January up into July. He proposed the first Sunday in August. We get married August 29th. We get married 3 weeks later in the pandemic. Okay. Then God blessed us with a 2 week honeymoon. And so we'll be celebrating 2 years August of this year. So that's our courtship. Speedily fast. Okay. There's more to it. Gave you the short version, but there were some things happening in class I didn't know about because that wasn't my focus. So what am I saying to you? Don't focus on where's my Boaz, where's my husband, where's my husband. Live your best single life. Fall in love with God. So we'll talk more with you dating and courtship part 2 next week, and we're going to talk about some important parts of the courtship. Okay. Here's a question I'll leave you with, though. Are you in love with God? If your answer is not an immediate yes, that's something to talk about. Okay? So thank you for tuning in to Soul Talk with Sonia. I see you next week. Please subscribe, and I'll see you soon.